Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Friday, May the 7th. We got a 9-game slate on Yahoo for today. Draftkings, we actually have a 10-game slate. I don't know why, but the Pelicans-Sixers game is not included in the Yahoo main slate. We'll still talk about that game though, since it is on DK. But we got a 10-gamer on DK today. We got a 9-gamer on Yahoo. As always, guys, we're going to go game by game. We're going to talk about each team on this slate, just give you my early thoughts, what does stand out to me looking at this slate on Thursday night. So before we get started with the breakdown, as always, I would appreciate it if you would click that like button down below. And if you are new to the channel here, be sure to click that subscribe button as well. Also hit the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. Should be back again with a live stream for Friday slate. I'll most likely be live around 4:30 Eastern time on my YouTube channel. If you guys want to come and hang out Friday afternoon, I'll be live breaking down the slate with you guys, answering all your questions as always. So be sure to tune into that Friday afternoon. And yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at tonight's slate. We'll start off with the Pelicans and Sixers game. So this is one that's pretty appealing, mainly on the Pelicans side, just because the Pelicans are going to be a little bit shorthanded today. No Brandon Ingram, who has already been ruled out, while Nickeil Alexander-Walker could maybe return today. He's questionable. Steven Adams is also questionable. But the big news here is that Brandon Ingram is out, which does impact a decent amount because Brandon Ingram is a pretty high usage player on this team. He obviously plays a ton of minutes. Getting him off the floor is going to allow for guys like Zion, Lonzo to get more usage. It's also going to allow for more minutes to be spread around. You should see more minutes for Najee Marshall. You should see more minutes for James Johnson. So we'll talk about both of those guys. But first off at the top, we got Zion for 9,900. I do like Zion a lot today. Zion is not someone I've played a ton this season, but I do have a lot of interest in him here. Even in a tough matchup against the Sixers, I just expect there to be a ton of usage for Zion. I expect him to pretty much dominate the usage. Just without Ingram, the ball is going to be in Zion's hands a lot. This is someone that can handle the ball. We've seen him, get assists. He's a guy that can do a little bit of everything. The rebounding numbers have been up as well, which is something we like to see. Like I said, the matchup's not great against the Sixers, but for what it's worth, Zion went absolutely nuclear against the Sixers earlier this season, put up 68 DraftKings points, 37 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists. No Brandon Ingram. Really like Zion here. The price tag really didn't move at all. It's not like he got priced up for Brandon Ingram being out, so I think on DraftKings at 9,900, he definitely looks like one of my preferred pay-up options today. There are a lot of studs today. It's a 10-game slate. There's plenty of guys to pay up for, but right now Zion is for sure someone I'm going to be looking to pay up to. Now, obviously, that game is not included in the Yahoo main slate, so we'll talk about other guys I like to pay up for on Yahoo, given that this game's not on the board. But then you have Lonzo for 8,100. I think Lonzo is viable as well. Now, I'm a little bit more confident in Zion at his price. I feel like Zion is probably more likely to pay off his price than Lonzo is, but 8,100 feels expensive for Lonzo, but he's been really good lately. He's been, contributing in all categories. We know Lonzo is a guy that has triple-double upside. Without Brandon Ingram, there should be more shot attempts available for Lonzo. He is someone that has been, taking more shots lately. He's been aggressive offensively, 21, 18, 23 field goal attempts over his last 3 games. I have some interest in Lonzo as well. 8,100, I would say that, he's another guy I'm going to be looking to on this Pelicans team. Outside of Zion and Lonzo, though, we do have some potential value here, so we'll need to keep an eye on the starting lineup. I'm assuming that either Najee Marshall or James Johnson moved into the starting lineup in place of Brandon Ingram. Whichever one starts, I think is a pretty good value. Najee Marshall, he's someone that, early in the season, he wasn't a very productive player when he's on the floor, but he's been way more productive lately. He's been more involved, 23 DK points in 23 minutes last game. Do I have a ton of confidence in Najee Marshall? Not really, but I think if he starts, then we probably get, around 30, 32 minutes from him. And at 4,100, that would definitely make him a viable, cheap option to go to. Even in a tough matchup, he'd be viable for sure. So Lonzo, Zion, I like a lot. And then whichever guy starts for Ingram, whether it's Marshall or James Johnson, I think is a pretty good value as well. But that probably does it for the Pelicans. Moving on to the Sixers side, there's not much I like on Philadelphia today. I think Joel Embiid, is viable at 10,700. He's not like a favorite stud option, though. We have Giannis. We have Zion, obviously. There's other studs we can pay up for. We got Jason Tatum playing without Jaylen Brown. You've got, Cat. There's a lot of guys to pay up for. I don't think I'm going to go to Embiid today, at least not in my one lineup. If I'm playing one lineup today, I don't think I'm playing Embiid. But, if I was playing multiple lineups, I would definitely have him in my player pool. He would be the one guy that I would probably get exposure to from this Sixers team. But I don't think I'm going to go to Ben Simmons. He's just been so bad lately. Tobias Harris has been super inconsistent. Seth Curry, at 4,400, maybe you could go to. If this game stays close, you're probably going to get like 34, 35 minutes from Seth Curry. This is not someone I really like playing because he's super scoring dependent, but at least viable. Embiid, though, I think is the one guy I like from Philly, but outside of that, there isn't a ton of standout plays here. So moving on to the next game, talking about Boston and Chicago. Now on Boston today, we know that Jaylen Brown has already been ruled out, while Robert Williams is currently listed as questionable, and I believe Tristan Thompson is probable. Yeah, Tristan Thompson is expected to play. Robert Williams is questionable, so we'll need to keep an eye on this. Last game with Tristan Thompson out, Robert Williams was a guy that I did have a lot of interest in. He only played 21 minutes in a blowout. You know, with Thompson probable and expected to play, it's tough to really have a ton of confidence in Robert Williams. But if Robert Williams gets ruled out, then maybe we could go to Tristan Thompson. I don't like him that much at 5,200, but he would at least be viable if Williams sits. But I think really the guys we want to look to on Boston are the top two guys, Jason Tatum and Kemba Walker. Without Jaylen Brown last game, you did see pretty good games for both Tatum and Kemba. Neither one played in the fourth quarter. It was a blowout against Orlando. Tatum only played 31 minutes, but he still did have 50 DK points in that time. And then Kemba also did not play in the fourth quarter. He had 46 DK points, though, in 28 minutes. Clearly, without Jaylen Brown, these are going to be the two guys that dominate the usage for Boston. So I think Tatum and Kemba both look like pretty decent options here. Tatum, how are you going to prioritize him versus, Giannis versus Zion? I think I prefer those two guys right now over Jason Tatum, but I would say that Tatum is up there in terms of pay-up options for me. He's been really good this season, and without Jaylen Brown, there should definitely be more opportunity, more minutes, more usage available for him. So I do like Tatum. I do like Kemba Walker. Evan Fournier at 5,400, I don't mind either. He was pretty good last game against Orlando. He also did not play in the fourth quarter, lost minutes because of that. If this game stays close, I think we do get probably 34, 35 minutes from Evan Fournier. He's been pretty bad so far this year with Boston, at least for fantasy, but he's been better lately. He's been, shooting a little bit better. Evan Fournier is another guy I don't really like playing just because he is pretty scoring dependent, but there is going to be more usage, more opportunity available for him with Jaylen Brown out. The minutes should be there as well. So really those three guys, Tatum, Kemba, Fournier, those are the three guys I like most from Boston today. That probably does it, though, for the Celtics team now. Looking at the Chicago side today, there really isn't much I like from the Bulls. Zach LaVine made his return on Thursday. This is a back-to-back for the Bulls, so keep an eye on this. I assume LaVine plays, but since he was out for so long, maybe they sit him here. But if everyone's in for Chicago, I really don't like anything from the Bulls. Vooch, I'm not going to go to on this slate. There's too many other pay-up options I prefer. Kobe White, I'm not going to go to him with LaVine back. LaVine, played in short spurts. On Thursday, he finished with only 27 minutes. It was a blowout, but I think he's going to be on a minutes limit again. So, yeah, I'm not going to play any Bulls here. This is a team that I think we can easily avoid today. So next game, we got Orlando and Charlotte. This is one I do have some interest in. On the Orlando side, this is a team that does continue to remain pretty shorthanded. Right now, as of the time I'm making this video, I'm pretty sure Orlando is only going to have 9 available bodies once again. They'll have Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba, Wagner, Hampton, Dwayne Bacon, Gary Harris, Thornwell, Randall, and then this Brasikas dude. So that makes 9 bodies. Robert Franks is no longer on the team. So we're going to have a 9-man rotation for Orlando like we did last game. There's a lot to like here, I think. I don't know if there's any must plays coming from Orlando. You guys know I don't like that term, but there are guys I do have a lot of interest in. We'll start off with Mo Bamba. I would say that he is my favorite play from this Magic team. Wendell Carter Jr. has already been ruled out for today. With Wendell Carter Jr. out last game, we did see Mo Bamba draw the start. He played 31 minutes, had 53 DK points, 19 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 block, 3 steals. Just a huge game from Mo Bamba. He's been, a really productive player this season when he does get minutes. He's always been a, productive player. So without Wendell Carter Jr., I think we do get around 30 minutes a night from Mo Bamba moving forward until Wendell Carter comes back. And if that's the case, if we're going to get 30, 32 minutes from Mo Bamba, this is a guy that should be priced around $7K. He clearly has a lot of upside when he gets the minutes. And at 6,100, he does still feel underpriced today. So I do like Mo Bamba a lot on DK, and I think he looks pretty good on Yahoo as well. He's someone I'm for sure going to be looking to on both sides. $23 on Yahoo. Right now, he's one of my favorite center options over there. So really like Mo Bamba. Cole Anthony, I'm not as high on at his price. Wagner, I think, benefits without Wendell Carter. He only played 26 minutes last game, but he was pretty productive in that time. There should be more minutes available for him as well without WCJ, so I don't mind him. RJ Hampton, though, is my second favorite play from Orlando. I was pretty high on him last game, and he had another really good game off the bench. He played 31 minutes, had 39 DK points. He did play in the blowout, and I think that's something that I think I really like when it comes to a guy like Hampton, is that obviously this Orlando team is really bad. They're going to get blown out a lot, but Hampton, regardless of the score, is going to be out there. Even Mo Bamba played in the blowout last game, so I think even if this game blows out, if Orlando just gets steamrolled again, there's a good chance you see Hampton out there. There's a good chance you see Mo Bamba out there. I think guys like Gary Harris, those are the kind of guys who are going to lose minutes in a blowout. Cole Anthony probably wouldn't play in a blowout, but Hampton will be out there, Bamba will be out there, which makes me really like them. I'm assuming that we get around 28, 30 minutes again from RJ Hampton off the bench. He's been really productive lately, 41, 47, 39 DK points. With how shorthanded this Magic team is, with them obviously being kind of in tank mode right now, they're trying to develop their young players. I think the minutes are going to continue to be there for RJ Hampton, so I do like him as well on both sides. 5,200 on DK, he's for sure someone I'm going to be looking to. And on Yahoo, I have a decent amount of interest in him as well over there at $18. Hampton and Bomber are my two favorite plays from Orlando. I don't mind Mo Wagner either. But that's probably it for the Magic. I don't think I'm going to go to like Dwayne Bacon or Gary Harris. Brasakis, you can maybe go to. He has played 32 and 30 minutes these last two games. Not a very productive player, but if he's going to play 30-plus minutes for 3K stone minimum, he's at least viable. But I do have a pretty good feeling that on a 10-game slate, we're going to get some better value that opens up as the day goes on. So that does it for the Orlando side. Now, looking at Charlotte here, talking about the Hornets. This is a back-to-back for the Hornets, so monitor that, but assuming that everyone's in, we know Miles Bridges is going to be out. We know Gordon Hayward's going to be out. Devontae Graham did not play Thursday. We'll have to see if he's able to go for Friday's game. Cody Martin also did not play Thursday. We don't exactly know if he's going to play Friday. I like some of these Charlotte guys on Thursday's slate. Caleb Martin I did like a lot, but once we got the news that he was not starting, I had a lot less interest in him. Jalen McDaniels really killed me Thursday. I played him on both sides. He was super disappointing. I don't know if I'm going to go back to any of these Charlotte guys today. The prices have come up a little bit. There's a good chance that maybe Graham and Martin or Cody Martin are back. And if that's the case, that's two more bodies they have in the rotation. I don't think there's any standout plays from Charlotte today. It's a bigger slate. We have 10 games. There's a lot of other teams to target. So nothing really stands out here. I will say that Jalen McDaniels, if you were to play him, he is still very cheap on Yahoo. He's only $12. I could see playing him there. If I were to play McDaniels or any Charlotte guy, it would probably be Jalen McDaniels on Yahoo. But overall, I think this is a team I'm probably going to be avoiding today. I don't see too much I like on Charlotte. Definitely a different slate. 10 games, a lot of other options, a lot of other shorthanded teams. I don't think we need to get too heavy on the Hornets here, especially if Cody Martin returns, if Devontae Graham returns. I'll be off pretty much this entire team. But moving on to the next game, we got Minnesota and Miami. So on Minnesota today, really, there's one guy I think that stands out for Minnesota. I will mention Anthony Edwards just because he did have a monster game last game against Memphis, had 66 DK points in 38 minutes, took 22 shots. He's been getting the usage. He's been getting the opportunity, 22, 19, 21, 22 field goal attempts over their last four games. He's going out there and taking a ton of shots. He's been getting rebounds. He's been getting assists. Anthony Edwards has been playing really well lately, at least for fantasy. He's been really good. Am I going to play Anthony Edwards on this slate with an increased price point, with a pretty bad matchup against Miami? I don't think I'm going to go to him, but he is viable just because he has been playing so well lately. But really the guy that stands out most from Minnesota is D'Angelo Russell. So they finally moved D'Angelo Russell back into the starting lineup last game. He did play 37 minutes, and he was very productive in that time. Had 50 Draftkings points, 22 points, 4 rebounds, and 14 assists. Had a double-double. I think we get 36, 38 minutes again from D'Angelo Russell as long as this game stays close. Assuming he's still in the starting lineup, I like him a lot at 7,300. We've been waiting for him to finally start, and it finally happened last game. I assume they start him again. If that's the case, I think D'Angelo Russell, he looks like probably my favorite play from this Minnesota team. Even in a tough matchup against the Heat, I think Russell's a really good option. So I do like him on DK, and I think he looks a little bit too cheap on Yahoo as well. Coming in at $26 over there, I do like D'Angelo Russell quite a bit on both sides. But honestly, that probably does it for Minnesota. I don't think I'm going to go to Karl-Anthony Towns today. I prefer Zion. I prefer Giannis. I prefer Tatum. There's other studs I'd rather get to. Like I said, Anthony Edwards is viable. Russell, though, is the guy that really stands out for Minnesota, and that's probably it for this team. Now, I do want to mention that Jaden McDaniels is out. I forgot to mention this. With him out, we'll have to see what they do with the starting lineup. We can maybe get some value here, like if Juancho Hernan-Gomez starts or if Jared Vanderbilt starts. You never know when it comes to a guy like Vanderbilt, you never know how many minutes he's going to get. Even when he does make spot starts, his minutes are just all over the place. But if he were to start for McDaniels, he'd be viable. Same with Hernan-Gomez. But I think Russell's the guy that really stands out for Minnesota. But on the Miami side, it's tough to really break down this Miami team right now because currently Jimmy Butler is questionable, and I believe Tyler Hero is questionable as well. Yeah, both Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero are questionable. So with Butler questionable, I mean, obviously if he's out, that does change a lot on this Miami team. Without Butler, you would get more usage for Bam. You get more usage off the bench for a guy like Goran Dragic. I think Kendrick Nunn would also benefit. But like if Butler plays, if Tyler Hero plays, I don't think I'm going to any Miami guys here. Nunn and Dragic have both been priced up for when Butler was out last game. And obviously they've been getting big minutes without Hero. But if Hero returns, I don't want to pay $6,200 for Nunn. I don't want to pay $5,600 for Dragic. I think the only way I'm going to any Heat guys today is if Jimmy Butler's out again. So that's just news we're going to have to wait and see on. If Butler does get ruled out, then I do have interest in Bam. I do have interest in Nunn and Dragic. If Hero plays, I think Hero would be viable because he's very cheap at $4,500. But that probably does it for Miami. It's just a wait and see right now. Tough to break down this Miami team in depth until we get news on Jimmy Butler. But on the next game, we got Houston and Milwaukee. So Houston, they're like the big question mark of the slate right now. I mean, basically their entire team is on the injury report. Christian Wood, Kelly Olynyk, Jayshawn Tate, Daniel House, DJ Augustin are all either questionable or doubtful. I believe all those guys are questionable except Daniel House. I think Daniel House is actually doubtful. Yeah, so Daniel House is not expected to play, but Wood, Olynyk, Tate, and Augustin are all questionable. So we don't know right now who's going to be in or out for Houston. Right now they only have 4 guys not on the injury report, so we know they have 4 guys that are going to be playing. But does Wood play? Does Olynyk play? Does Tate play? Does Augustin play? Like they're basically going to have to because if these guys don't play, that only leaves Houston with 6-7 bodies. Like I said, if some of these guys are going to play, so we just don't know which ones it's going to be. Some of these guys are going to have to be active because Houston would then have to postpone the game or forfeit because they wouldn't have enough active bodies. Like my best guess is that probably DJ Augustin plays. He was active last game, but they said that he was unlikely to play. So they basically just made him active so that they would have the minimum required amount of bodies. You can have you don't have to actually have 8 players play. You only have to have 8 active players. That doesn't mean those active players actually have to touch on the floor or step on the floor. So there's a chance that maybe Houston has they have 8 active players, but only 7 play like last game. Last game they only had 7 players actually play. That could be the case today. I assume, though, that Augustin probably does actually play today. Christian Wood, though, I don't know if they're going to play him. I mean, obviously Houston has nothing to play for. Do they play Wood here? I really have no idea. Kelly Olynyk, he's been smashing lately, been getting monster minutes. I mean, even in blowouts, he's just been playing huge minutes because they really just have no other choice. They're just so thin right now. So, Kelly Olynyk, maybe they sit him because he's been playing so many minutes lately. But if he plays, I do like Kelly Olynyk, especially if Christian Wood's out again. We saw Kelly Olynyk have a monster game last game with Christian Wood out. And then Jayshawn Tate, if he plays, he could be viable for sure because he's going to have to play monster minutes. And then, if these guys get ruled out, then we can start looking to these value options. KJ Martin nearly played the entire game last game. He played 44 of 48 minutes. He almost played the entire game, had 23 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, had 50 DraftKings points. If Wood's out again, if Tate's out again, love KJ Martin. He would be one of my favorite plays on the slate, but that's just, that's news we don't have right now. Armani Brooks, though, I think is the one guy that, I do feel pretty confident in right now. So we already know that Kevin Porter Jr. is out. DJ Augustin, obviously, is questionable. He did not play last game. There's a good chance that DJ Augustin does play today and maybe get some minutes, but clearly this Houston team, they're just going to run these young guys into the ground. I think Armani Brooks probably plays close to 40 minutes here. Without Kevin Porter Jr., he's going to be their point guard. We've seen Armani Brooks, even when he does make spot starts, sometimes he's not that productive, but this Houston team is just so shorthanded right now. Brooks is basically going to have to play almost the entire game. Augustin will get some run, but there's a good chance that Brooks plays close to 40 minutes. And at $3,900, he's one of my favorite value plays right now. It's really hard to not have interest in him just because of how shorthanded Houston is. And on Yahoo's minimum salary, so I do like him a lot on Yahoo as well. And then depending on who's out between Wood, Olynyk, Tate, if any of these guys are out, then we can start looking to guys like Anthony Lamb, Daquan Jeffries. Daquan Jeffries did start last game, played 41 minutes, had 20 DK points. Depending on how many active bodies Houston has, we can maybe go to Daquan Jeffries. Anthony Lamb had a really good game off the bench. He played 36 minutes, had 34 DK points. Again, if Houston only has 7-8 active bodies, Anthony Lamb's going to be forced to play big minutes. So it's a wait and see for now. Armani Brooks, I think, is the one guy that I can for certain say is a pretty good play just because without Kevin Porter, he's going to be their starting point guard. Without Eric Gordon out, with Sterling Brown out, with Avery Bradley out, I'm assuming that Brooks starts at point guard and plays 35 plus minutes, but the rest is just a wait and see. If Christian Wood's out again, then I really like Kelly Olynyk if he plays. I really like Jayshawn Tate. I would like KJ Martin a lot if he were to start again. And then if Christian Wood's out, if Tate's out, like we had last game, then we can start looking to these other guys, Lamb, Jeffries. But yeah, Houston's the biggest question mark of the slate right now. Depending on who's in or out for this team, this could be a team that you want to load up on depending on how many active bodies they actually do have for today. But yeah, now moving on to the Milwaukee side. So in Milwaukee here, basically when this team is fully healthy, I really don't play anyone outside of Giannis, and I think it's the case today. Middleton, I don't like at his price. I think he's too expensive. Drew Holiday, I don't like at his price. I think he's too expensive. But Giannis at $11K, I think is a really good pay-up option today. My only worry is that this Houston team, like I said, they're terrible. They're going to get blown out a lot this season. This game does have a lot of blowout potential. We don't have a line yet on this game, but I would assume that Milwaukee, they're going to come in as massive favorites. That's my only concern, but if this game can stay close and we do get full minutes from Giannis, he should absolutely smash here. He's one of my favorite pay-up options on Yahoo, especially because Zion is not available on the Yahoo main slate, so I do like Giannis a lot there at $54. He's a guy that I always try and pay up for, and on Yahoo, especially with how soft the pricing is there, should be very easy to fit Giannis in. We're probably going to have more value open up as the day goes on. Even in a game that has a lot of blowout potential, I still think Giannis is one of my favorite pay-up options, so he's the guy that I like from Milwaukee, but outside of that, I think we can move on to the next game. So we got Cleveland and Dallas here. Probably my least favorite game on the slate. I really don't like much here on Cleveland. Darius Garland's out again, so we could obviously go to Colin Sexton, but his prices come way up to $8,700 that I don't really have much interest in him at this elevated price point. And everyone else like Jared Allen, Kevin Love, Cedi Osman, none of these guys stand out at their prices. Cleveland just a team I'm going to be avoiding today. This should be a very slow-paced game, should be a low-scoring game. I don't really like anything on the Cavs. Now on the Mavericks side, a little bit more to talk about here just because Kristaps Porzingis is doubtful. He's already been ruled doubtful for today, so Porzingis is unlikely to play. We don't know yet if Maxi Kleber is going to be in or out. It says right here that he will not play Tuesday and he'll likely miss 2 or 3 additional games, so that probably means that Kleber is going to be out as well. So without Porzingis and without Kleber, we did see the front court minutes split up again between Dwight Powell and Willie Cauley-Stein. Willie Cauley-Stein drew the start on Thursday. He actually did play pretty well. He only played 21 minutes. He was very productive, though, in that time. Did have 24 DK points. He's super cheap. If Willie Cauley-Stein does start again, for $3,300, he could be a value play worth going to. And then Dwight Powell came off the bench. He played 27 minutes. He basically played, the other minutes that Cauley-Stein did not play. He was also very productive with 37 DK points, had a double-double. Dwight Powell, even off the bench, has been really productive lately. Now, me personally, I made the mistake of swapping off of Dwight Powell on Thursday's slate once we got the news he was not starting. I originally had him in my lineup, and then I swapped to Willie Cauley-Stein once it was announced that Powell wasn't going to start. I know Powell hasn't started lately, but I wasn't sure how many minutes he would play off the bench, but he got 27 minutes again. It seems like even when he comes off the bench, he's still going to play 25, 26 minutes. He's still cheap at $3,700. He's been productive lately. I think Dwight Powell is probably my favorite play from the Mavs. I think you could go to Willie Cauley-Stein as well if he starts. But, yeah, I think Powell's the guy that really stands out. He's just been the guy that they've been wanting to give the center minutes to. Willie Cauley-Stein, he played well Thursday, and he still only played 21 minutes. So I just don't know with him. It just doesn't seem like they want to give him the minutes. So Powell at $3,700, I do like for value. But Tim Hardaway, with his price up a little bit, I don't really want to go to on this slate. He did have another good game on Thursday, but I don't think I'm going to play Hardaway today at $5,700. There's going to be other plays that I'd rather prefer, that I'd rather go to. I'm sure there's going to be better value open up as the day goes on. And then Luka at the top for $10,900. Just don't think I'm going to get to Luka today. There's too many other studs I prefer. We have Giannis, we have Jokic, who we haven't talked about yet. You have Zion. Just don't think I'm playing Luka. So really it's Dwight Powell, and that's probably it for Dallas. So next game, we got Denver and Utah. So on Denver today, Nikola Jokic, $10,800. I think he's right up there with Zion. He's right up there with Giannis in terms of favorite pay-up options for me right now. Jason Tatum you could put up there too. The matchup here against Utah is not great, but the good thing is this is a game that we should expect to stay close. We should get, full 36, 38 minutes from Jokic. He's been really productive this season. Even in a tough matchup like this, Jokic can still go out there and dominate. He's been super good against Utah this season. Even against the Jazz, he's averaged 74 Draftkings points through 2 games against them. This Nuggets offense just runs through Jokic. He literally has triple-double upside every night. He's been the closest thing to Russell Westbrook in terms of productivity in terms of floor, ceiling. Love Jokic today, even in a less than ideal matchup against the Jazz. I think Jokic still looks like one of the best pay-up options. But outside of Jokic, I don't know if I'm going to anyone else on Denver. Campazzo did have a really good game last game, played 33 minutes in a blowout, had 47 DK points. I feel like if I play Campazzo today, he's going to put up 20 DK points, but he has been really productive lately. He's had 2 back-to-back really good games. No Will Barton, no Jamal Murray. The opportunity is there right now for Campazzo. I think at 5,100, he's a viable option. I don't love him at this price, but I think he's still, an okay play. And then, we could look to a guy like Austin Rivers for value. He did play 28 minutes off the bench, had 41 DK points, and that feels like a bit of an outlier. I wasn't as high on Rivers last slate just because he's not a very productive player. He hasn't been that productive with Denver this season, but did have a really good game last game. It's clear the minutes are going to be there for Austin Rivers, especially while PJ Dozier is out as well. Even though they didn't start him last game, he still did play 28 minutes. So Rivers for value you could look to. Campazzo is okay play. Jokic is the guy that really stands out, though, from Denver, at least for me. Paul Millsap did start in place of PJ Dozier, but he only played 24 minutes, only had 18 DK points. I don't think I'm going to go to Paul Millsap today, even if he starts again. That's probably it for Denver. So on the Utah side, looking at the Jazz here, we know Conley and Mitchell are out again, but at this point, I don't think that is something I'm really factoring in that much, just because Clarkson, Ingles, Bogdanovich, all these guys have been priced up to reflect that. The matchup here against Denver is not the best. Mainly my interest in this game is coming from the Denver side with the guys we mentioned. I don't see much I like on Utah at all. Utah, just not a team I have that much interest in. So moving on to the next game, we got the Lakers and the Blazers. On the Lakers here, not a ton stands out from the Lakers. We know LeBron's going to be out. We know Schroeder's going to be out. Caruso at 4K you could go to. On a 10-game slate, I feel like there's going to be better value plays than Alex Caruso, but he's an okay option. Anthony Davis is a low-owned tournament play I don't mind. Without LeBron, there should be more usage available for Davis. He just hasn't been worth the price tag, though. At 9,800, you're definitely overpaying for Davis at this point. He hasn't really shown the upside to be a guy that you kind of have to have. Whereas Zion, we know, can go for 60 any night. He's been super consistent. Giannis, we know, has slate-breaking upside. Jokic has been really good this season, obviously. Just Davis has been a lot more inconsistent, even in a good matchup against Portland. I don't think I'm going to get to AD on the slate. Again, if I were to play AD, it would be on Yahoo, where he still feels a little bit too cheap on Yahoo at $38, so I don't mind him there. But really, I think Caruso's okay value. I think Kyle Kuzma benefits. THT got ruled out Thursday. It doesn't look like THT is going to play on this game either. They did actually use Kuzma as the backup point guard in Thursday's game. That game's going on as I'm recording this video. Maybe without THT, that benefits Kuzma a little bit. We know he's going to start without LeBron and without Schroeder. He's going to play big minutes, but yeah, no Lakers really stand out today. Davis, Kuzma, Caruso are the 3 guys I think that are viable, but no standout plays from LA. Now on the Portland side, it's really kind of the same thing. Damian Lillard at 9,700, you could obviously go to. Lillard has big-time upside. I would expect him to play well here in a pretty big-time matchup against the Lakers, but on this slate specifically, I would rather personally just play Zion for $200 more. Without Brandon Ingram, I think Zion, the guy I'd rather play over Lillard. But Lillard you could go to. Outside of Lillard, though, I don't think I'm going to play CJ McCollum. I don't think I'm going to play Nurkic on this slate. Really no standout plays from Portland outside of maybe some Lillard exposure in tournaments, but that probably does it. There's really no core plays coming from this game, at least not for me. Now, next one, we got San Antonio and Sacramento. On San Antonio today, it's a really good matchup for the Spurs here against the Kings, but this Spurs team, I just hate rostering these Spurs guys, especially when their prices are up like they are now at 8,400. I just don't want to pay that for DeMar DeRozan. Last game they literally just basically gave up last game. DeRozan only played 18 minutes. They got blown out by Utah. Same thing happened for Murray. He only played 19 minutes. I would expect these guys to bounce back here in a much better matchup. This game should stay close. They should get their full minutes, but I think these are just tournament plays at best. I don't think no San Antonio guys stand out as core options. Murray, DeRozan, Pirtle as low-owned tournament plays I think is fine. It's a good matchup, but no standout plays from the Spurs. Now on the Sacramento side, we're going to have to wait and see if De'Aaron Fox plays or not. This is obviously pretty big news. He did not play for COVID, or he did not play Wednesday. He's still in COVID protocols, but it does seem like he's going to be returning soon at some point. If he does play, that basically takes me off this entire Sacramento team. Buddy Hield's been priced up. DeLon Wright's been priced up. The one guy you can maybe go to would be Marvin Bagley. Bagley did play 35 minutes last game against the Pacers, was very productive, had 47 DK points. It seems like Bagley's going to start and play, 30-plus minutes a night moving forward. We know he's a productive player when he does get minutes. The price tag is up a little bit, but I think Bagley at 5,900 still looks like a decent option. I think Rashawn Holmes is okay. Bagley, though, is the guy that really stands out. We'll have to wait and see if Harrison Barnes plays or not. If Barnes plays, that would slightly lower my interest in a guy like Bagley, but it would at least still be a decent option, would still be viable. But like if De'Aaron Fox is out again, that just makes me feel better about all these guys. I don't think any of them are like standout plays outside of maybe Bagley, but I would feel better about Buddy Hield. I feel better about DeLon Wright. DeLon Wright has been smashing lately with Fox and Halliburton both out. He's played big minutes as well. He started the last 2 games. He's played 37 and 40 minutes, has put up 55 Draftkings points in both games. I don't know if we can expect this type of production from DeLon Wright. His price is way up now. But if Fox is out again, we know Halliburton's already going to be out. I assume we get 35, 40 minutes from DeLon Wright. He should be productive. I don't know if he's going to put up 50 fantasy points, but he should definitely give you enough to be an okay play at 6,800. So if Fox is out, I think DeLon Wright's viable. If Fox plays, though, probably the only guy I'm going to be looking to from Sacramento would be Marvin Bagley at his price tag. I think Bagley, regardless, is a decent option at 5,900. I would say, though, that if Harrison Barnes plays, that will slightly lower my interest in a guy like Bagley. Just makes his minutes a little bit less secure, I would say. But that does it for this game. Last game of the night, we got the Knicks and the Suns. This is one I don't have much interest in at all. 2 relatively slow-paced teams, 2 teams that play good defense. Should be a good game to watch, but in terms of DFS, I don't see a ton I like here. On the Knicks side, like nothing really stands out. Julius Randle on this slate, I don't think I'm going to get to. I'd rather play all these other studs we've talked about. Just nothing stands out from New York. I just don't like any Knicks today. And on the Suns side, it's really the same thing. Tough matchup here against the Knicks. It's a slow-paced game. Chris Paul, Devin Booker both have a ton of upside, can put up big games any night. But on this slate, am I going to prioritize either one of those guys? No. I think they're guys who could sprinkle in tournaments, but I don't think I'm going to prioritize any Suns. If I'm playing one lineup today, I doubt any Suns make it into my one lineup. Just straight up, I'd rather play D'Angelo Russell over Chris Paul. I'd rather play Russell over Booker for the savings. So, yeah, just a game I don't have much interest in. That does it, though, for all 10 games on the slate, guys. I try to break everything down as quickly as I could. I know this video is pretty long, but appreciate you guys watching as always. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below and hit that subscribe button as well. Also, click the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload. You also get notified every time I live stream. I'll once again be back with a live stream Friday afternoon around 4:30 Eastern Time. If you guys want to come and hang out, tune into the stream. I'll be live breaking down the slate and talking through everything with you guys. But yeah, best of luck tonight. Appreciate you watching. Have a good Friday. Enjoy your weekend, guys. We'll see you. Or I should have a video up for Saturday, but we'll see you in that video. Don't know if I'm going to be streaming yet. To be determined. Good luck, though, guys. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.